And with that, we've started trade deadline week in the NHL. The Edmonton Oilers have acquired Connor Murphy from the Chicago Blackhawks, 50% retained, for a second-round pick. According to Frank Saravalli's reporting on Twitter, that is a 2028 second-round pick. And that matters because the Edmonton Oilers have spent a lot of assets in recent years to be competitive, and it's worked. They've been competitive, right? They've been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. But at some point, you're going to run out of picks. This year, they don't have a first. Next year, they don't have a third. But they do have a 2028 second, so they send that out the door. Wow, did they do a lot of cap gymnastics to even get this done? What would we do without Puckpedia? I don't know. Here's how it all played out earlier today. From Puckpedia, if the Oilers put Janmark on LTIR with Szymanski and Howard in the minors, then calling them up later would take up their AAV, which is cap hit plus performance bonus, of 1.46 and 1.62 million. However, if they're on the NHL roster when Janmark goes on LTIR, they count as their cap hits of 975 and 950. That's a big difference. Therefore, expect Edmonton to send their guys on waivers down after clearing waivers so they have room to call up one or both of Szymanski and Howard. Once up, they can put Janmark on LTIR. Then, after the players sent down play at least one AHL game, they could be swapped back. Then later confirming, the Oilers made these roster moves and put Janmark on LTIR. They can now add 1.45 million in cap hit, and Szymanski and Howard will only take up their cap hits, not their AAV, which includes performance bonuses, while the team is on LTIR. With Janmark on LTIR, the Oilers have 1.45 million available. To add Murphy at 2.2 million, which is what he's at, he's a $4.4 million cap hit. The Blackhawks retained half, so it's 2.2. A player would need to be sent down. Expect this trade to be completed after 5 p.m. Eastern, which is officially tomorrow for cap purposes. That's very important. That would allow them to send down one of the players called up today, Szymanski or Howard, to have the space needed for this trade. So a lot of juggling done, and it makes me wonder if the Oilers are done. I mean, they've been involved in so many rumors, but they just don't have the space. Unless, of course, someone is sent out the other way. And they still have options there. You could still send out Andrew Mangiapane, for example. According to Daily Faceoff, this is what the Oilers D pairs look like right now with Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard. Obviously, Darnell Nurse and Jake Wallman. And then you get Spencer Stastny and Ty Emberson. Connor Murphy would obviously push out one of those guys. Now, you could simply take those pairs and then swap out Emberson, I guess, for Connor Murphy, or you could get a little versatile with it. Maybe it's Nurse that's on the second pair with Connor Murphy, and Jake Wallman, the left-shooting defenseman, goes down to the third pair and he plays with Ty Emberson. Or you could swap Wallman and Nurse. You could do a lot of things. Probably keep Ekholm and Bouchard together. Now, it's funny. Connor Murphy hasn't always been the most popular Chicago Blackhawk, at least when it comes to his metrics. But you got to remember, this guy played 9 Stanley Cup playoff games, and they weren't even in front of people. They were in the 2020 bubble when his Blackhawks actually beat the Edmonton Oilers. That's his only Stanley Cup playoff action. So when he plays his first Stanley Cup playoff games this season, it'll be his first Stanley Cup playoff games in front of spectators. But I will stick up for him in saying defensemen like him kind of get a raw deal. And what is a defenseman like him? Well, he's big. He's 6'4", 212. Former 20th overall pick all the way back from 2011, but a certain expectation comes with that. Especially when you're a big defenseman who does shoot right, yeah, but you're offensively limited. And when you spend your career on pretty much exclusively bad teams. Dude, he got traded by the Coyotes to the Chicago Blackhawks on their way down. He joined the Blackhawks in the 2017-18 season, which is pretty much exactly when you don't want to be joining that team, yeah. And who would have been the GM acquiring him? Stan Bowman. So Connor Murphy's been traded twice in his NHL career, and both times he was acquired by Stan Bowman as the GM. He likes this guy. And how did Chicago fare in that trade? I know things didn't go very well for the Blackhawks, but I got to think very good. He played 9 seasons as a Chicago Blackhawk, 547 career regular season games. The trade in June of 2017 was Laurent Dauphin and Connor Murphy traded to the Arizona Coyotes for the final few years of Nicklas Hjalmarsson's career. How many games did the Coyotes get out of Hjalmarsson? Not over 500 games. And the fact that it ends by recouping a second-round pick, that's pretty good. Now, this isn't necessarily a case of a player who's like a first or second pair defenseman on a bad team coming over to a cup contender and playing a smaller role, which can either supercharge your team or be kind of a challenge. Like we saw at the Olympics, some stars struggle with playing a smaller role. Well, that's not going to happen here. Connor Murphy is actually 6th among Chicago Blackhawks D in average ice time, with 16 minutes and 34 seconds on average. Now, where that increases greatly is his shorthanded time on ice, where he was 2nd on the Chicago Blackhawks, playing 2 minutes and 57 seconds shorthanded per night. The only guy higher than him is Alex Vlasic at a flat 3 minutes, and a difference of 3 seconds on average is pretty negligible. So how have the Oilers divvied that up? Well, it might tell us who's coming out of the lineup. Evan Bouchard has led the way, playing 1 minute and 53 seconds per game shorthanded. Matthias Ekholm, 1 minute and 49 seconds. Third is Spencer Stastny at 1 minute and 33 seconds per night. Oh, well, Ty Emberson's coming out. Well, Ty Emberson is 4th at 1 minute and 30 seconds flat per night. Kulak, by the way, was 5th. Obviously, he's not there anymore, and Darnell Nurse is 6th. Is acquiring Connor Murphy a way that the Edmonton Oilers could bolster their PK, but also find a way to get a little bit of rest for a guy like Evan Bouchard, who's going to be eating minutes, or a guy like Matthias Ekholm, who has had some health issues and is frankly old for an NHL player? To me, there's a lot of value in getting something like that done, even if Connor Murphy isn't exactly the sexiest name. But with all of those gymnastics, just to do that one move with the Blackhawks, it's got me wondering what the Oilers are going to do next, because there's no way they're done here, right? They obviously know what they're doing cap-wise. They did all sorts of, what was that, like 5 or 6 moves just to get this done? Paying a second-round pick for a defenseman, even if it's not the biggest name, but also getting the team on the other end of that trade to retain half and only paying a second? That's pretty good. And you have a bunch more second-round picks. Maybe you have, who knows, maybe an Ike Howard is on the table. You have other prospects as well. Doesn't have to be him. A lot of people were talking about Oliver Ekman-Larsson going to the Oilers. Is that done now? He's got term. That'd be pretty difficult. But what about a Bobby McMahon from Toronto? If the Leafs were to retain half on him, he'd be making less than league minimum. Surely there's a way that the Oilers could get that done. You gotta wonder, can the Edmonton Oilers swing for the fences here to go to a 3rd straight Stanley Cup final, or are they going to be ordering off the value menu until Friday and still possibly make a 3rd straight Stanley Cup final? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like to. Tell your friends. SDPN is your home for all things trade deadline Friday. It's coming.
Hey, did you like the thing you just watched?
Was it hilarious? Was it informative?
Was it me losing my mind?
Possibly. Potentially. Most of the time it is. Hey, listen, if you like what SDPN has to offer, you should check out more of our videos and subscribe to our channel by clicking subscribe, or Steve will find you.